In a huge relief, Supreme Court has granted bail to former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram in connection with the INX Media case. Chidambaram had challenged Delhi High Court's order denying him regular bail on the 30th of September. Three-judge Supreme Court bench led by Justice R. Bhanumati granted bail to former Finance Minister. However, Chidambaram cannot walk out of the jail right away. He will have to remain in Enforcement Directorate custody till 24th of October. The Apex Court asked Chidambaram to produce a bail bond of 1 lakh rupees and 2 sureties. Court has also asked him to surrender his passport in special court. The 74-year-old Congress leader was arrested by the Central Bureau of Investigation in INX Media case on August 22. Well, it's a relief for former Union Finance Minister P. Chidambaram. Supreme Court has granted bail to Chidambaram in connection with INX Media case, but he will have to stay in ED custody till 24th of October. There he was arrested by the Central Bureau of Investigation in connection with the INX Media case on the 22nd of August. Supreme Court lawyer K.V. Dhananjay joins me with the phone line. Thank you, Mr. Dhananjay, first of all, for talking to News 9. Now, sir, it's a relief for former Union Finance Minister P. Chidambaram. He was desperately hoping to get one. Supreme Court has granted bail to Chidambaram in connection with the INX Media case. But here's a catch. I'm sure you're also very well aware of it, that he will have to stay in ED custody till 24th of October. If you would be able to tell us, sir, what points went in favor of Chidambaram?
Well, the charge sheet, the investigation was complete. Now, one of the reasons that the police would strongly argue for judicial custody is that they would say we are in the process of investigating. And while we are investigating, we don't want this accused to intimidate witnesses or tamper with evidence. And so he should be in judicial custody. And in Chidambaram's case, they had sought him and then they had got him for police custody. So, of course, the argument that they could make against Chidambaram was that he was a very influential, and he still is an influential person. He was the previous Home Minister, he was the previous Finance Minister, and all of that. And after all that investigation, they have prepared a charge sheet or a police report, and they have laid it before the trial court. So, once a charge sheet is prepared in cases like these, then the police cannot vehemently argue that no matter how much time it would take for the trial to take place, the accused should continue to be in custody because these are economic offences. And in economic offences, the chance of success is less than 50%. So there's a 50% likelihood that the police would fail in the trial. And just imagine what would happen if someone was put behind bars for years together, maybe 2 or 3 years, and then he takes a trial. And in the trial, he's acquitted. Then who would compensate him for those 2 or 3 years of jail? So these principles are all relevant for the court. And what factor weighed heavily in favor of Mr. Chidambaram was that the police had completed their investigation and they had laid out a charge sheet, or what we call as a police report in technical terms. Mm-hmm. So they've made out a case against Mr. Chidambaram, and now it is a province of the court. You see, in our system, police is one agency that works under the government, whereas the courts are an independent agency. The courts, in fact, have an independence of their own. And the police will be one side, the court trial, and the other side will be the defendant. So the court will have to independently act, and it was, I think, a bit expected that the court today has granted a bail. But then the problem for Mr. Chidambaram might be that there are several other cases besides INX Media case. So if he is going to get caught in any other case, then yes, there's going to be a separate episode of custodial interrogation and then judicial custody for some time after that. So the problem is not truly over for Mr. Chidambaram because the case against him was not just the INX Media case. There were a couple of other cases as well. Though the one that got a lot of attention and public attention and of course the attention from the media was this one. There are other cases as well. So, though he's been let out on bail, the likelihood of he coming out on bail immediately looks a bit remote because there are other cases in connection with which he's been remanded to judicial custody. So, this is how it plays out.